Looking for some quality betting picks? Well, download the Discord app and join our group Bet Masters Lounge where you can get positive EV and arbitrage along with best bets and parlays. Download Discord now, send us an invite, and get in on the action. On this week's episode of A Win is a Win, Bronny has declared he's entering the draft. However, he chooses to stay in the transfer portal. We will get into that. We're going to jump into the unstoppable Wemby. Yes, he is on a tear right now. And Lavar Ball says it's them raggedy shoes. We're going to jump into all of that and more coming up here on A Win is a Win. Let's go. It's time for the rookie rundown. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Yep, we are back for another fun-filled week of everything that took place in sports. But before we dive all the way into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast and tell someone to tell somebody else to join. A win is a win. And don't forget, we like it when you listen, love it when you subscribe. Go ahead, hit the subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just hit it. Go ahead. Thank you. And also, somewhere on your listening device, there is a notification bell to get your necessary notifications. With the final week and a half left in the season, majority of rookies are preparing for vacation as their teams are not in the playoffs. However, let's discuss my top two picks who have been making some noise for sure on the hardwood. Brandon Miller. Now, although Charlotte can't find a win, Miller remains completely solid. And let me just say, he's shooting could use a little bit of work, but still solid nonetheless, especially given he can also defend. Now, no question he will play a key role next to LaMelo next season once, LaMelo is back and he's all healed up. He finishes up this week with 4 games played, 18.5 points per game, 4.0 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. Miller is a two-way talent, definitely to watch. Let's get into Wemby because Wemby is on a terror at the moment. Yep. How does the song go? Can't stop, won't stop. No Diddy. I'm kidding. Let's go. With just a few games remaining, Wemby has not turned off his jets, none in the least. Now, at 7'4", listen to this. He's averaging about 7 assists per game. That's absurd, which leads me to he's also one of the best passers in this rookie squad, no doubt. Now, not only is he nearly impossible to defend on one end, on the other, he's difficult to score against. Now, he finishes up this week, 3 games played, 31.7 points per game, 14.7 rebounds, 6.7 assists, and 4.3 blocks. Wemby he is trying to show you all I can live up to the hype. Wemby has come in the door and he is definitely earning a seat at the table. Campus Gridiron up next. It's time to hit that Campus Gridiron. A judge denies motions by Florida State to dismiss the ACC lawsuit. Now, the lawsuit says the college football playoffs' stunning decision to exclude undefeated Seminoles from the 24 championship crystallizes years of ACC failures that threatened the conference's fiscal viability. Now, as we all know, the ACC has underperformed drastically in the last few years and is one of the reasons the lawsuit is headed full steam, in addition to allegations of illegally preventing members the right to withdraw, short of threatening, listen to this, a $500 million penalty. Whew. Still lots to unpack, and we definitely will keep an eye on that for updates. Let's go over here to Colorado. Warren Sapp is officially an assistant coach for Coach Prime's Buffaloes. Yep. He has made in his 13-year NFL career over $58 million and is set to make roughly $12,500 per month in Colorado, which is roughly about $150K annually. Now, at an entry level position, some have questioned if his salary is on the high end. However, NCAA rules state he must be enrolled in an assistant head coach graduate study program, which he is. So, interesting enough that he's there. We will see exactly what Sapp and Prime can cook up for the Buffaloes this year. Bronny James has declared for NBA draft and enters the transfer portal, making his debut after cardiac arrest, benching him for about 5 months. He debuted about a month ago, a month into the season. Now, Bronny, who is 19, averaged about 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists, shooting just over, 25% from the three. Now, James Jr. will meet with teams for workouts before the May 31st deadline. And if drafted, my question, is what team makes sense for Bronny if it's not the Lakers? And would that be a 2-for-1 deal if he goes to another team? Would his father go as well? Don't know. However this plays out, Bronny will hopefully be developed into a solid player, and we shall see what happens. Sports news up next. It's that time. Yep, it's time for some sports news. Stefon Diggs has some new digs. Yep, that's right. Diggs is headed to Houston to join CJ Stroud and company. Now, what did the Bills actually get for this trade? Well, they got a few late round picks and a second round in 2025. Now, Diggs joins a stacked roster, including former Bengal Joe Mixon, along with Nico Collins and Tank Dell with tight end Dalton Schultz. Now, making dead salary cap history, the Bills created about a 31 million in dead cap. That's about 3.3 million more than Diggs was already scheduled to count. Now that the Bills have quieted their receiver room, can Josh Allen get the job done is the question. Does the Bills have enough weapons to line up across from the Chiefs, who have owned the Bills? We shall see. And there's also a lot of talk about the culture there and how outspoken Stefon Diggs was on social media, etc., etc. Well, I'll say this: sometimes when an organization is fed up, they'd rather take the hit than to keep dealing with whatever drama they see in or has happened with or continues to happen with the player. Now, Stefon Diggs has a right to feel the way that he feels. Stefon Diggs has a right to say and use his platform the way that he chooses to. But so do the Bills. And I think that's where people are failing to realize that you had to be living under a rock if you did not see this coming. Saw it from a mile away. Rashid Rice is taking full responsibility for his recent accident in Texas involving his Lambo, which injured four people. Now, Rashid at a press conference had this to say, quote, I sincerely apologize to everyone impacted in Saturday's accident. I am taking full responsibility. Now, the Lambo truck rented by Rice was one of two speeding cars causing a chain reaction crash. Both drivers of the Lambo and the Corvette involved left the scene without checking to see if anyone needed medical attention. In this situation, the law is the law. And in my opinion, no level of fame should deter the correct lawful action that should be taken, as no different as if he was any other citizen. My question is, how do you think the police is going to handle this, since it's Rashid Rice? And we know time after time after time that NFL, NBA, major leagues, you name it, celebrities, actresses, actors, all get some type of preferential treatment until they don't anymore. So, how do you think the police will handle this incident? Chime in the chat and let me know. Now, here's a story that it's just, you ever have look at a situation and you look at how a person behaved, and you just, that little Cardi B voice comes in your head and you have to yell, what was the reason? That's how I feel about this. Tory Eason decided to give the Warriors more ammo to quiet his unnecessary taunts. Beating the Rockets 133 to 110, the Warriors made a complete example out of the Rockets and Eason. Now, Eason, if you are familiar with cult classic movies, he wore a Warriors come out to play shirt. Wow, get this, not playing. Let me continue. Curry clapped back with the two bottles in an echo from the infamous scene on the sideline. Now imagine this. Imagine not playing, wearing a shirt to taunt Steph Curry. Some say, okay, well, I had this discussion before I started recording, and someone said, okay, well, Tiff, check this out. He's young. Give him a pass. Young player. Every player did something stupid. And I get it. But didn't we call people out when they did certain things that didn't make sense back then, before then, and currently? Just because he's 24 doesn't mean it make it. If he has enough common sense to come to the game and put the shirt on, he had enough common sense to know this just might not be a good look. And coach didn't check me for it. All right, cool. So I'm going to just do it. That's not thinking correctly. And in my opinion, if you are going to taunt, then suit up and get to it. Looks like the Warriors came out to play. Injury report up next. Your AI sidekick has arrived. That's right. Turn off the bat signal because Blaze is here to save the day. Blaze is an AI sidekick for overwhelmed teams of one just like you. Brainstorm and outline content ideas with AI. Go from idea to on-brand content in minutes. Turn a blog post into 10 plus asset types, ads, social posts, emails, and more. Collaborate with colleagues in real time and get content approved. Go to drT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Navigate to Blaze and download today. Who's hurt and who is ready to go? Well, it's time for our injury report. quick look at some injury updates. Hawks Trey Young still out with his finger, expected to return on the 9th. Celtics Jalen Brown is also out with the hand injury. He's expected to be back on the 7th. Now, the Bulls' T. Craig will be a game time decision coming off of a knee injury, and the Mavs also hope to make a game time decision for Luka on his knee injury. Warriors Kaminga will also be a game time decision on his knee as well. And lastly, the Paper Clips. Leonard is out until the 7th with a knee as well. Now, in some interesting injury news, Lavar Ball. Well, Lavar blames poor NBA conditioning and raggedy shoes as an explanation for LaMelo and Lonzo's injuries. Now, he chalks up their injuries to quote unquote NBA folks who don't know what they doing, end quote. He went on to say, quote, it's them raggedy shoes that Melo be wearing. Them shoes are not made the right way for him. That's why he keeps tweaking his ankle. Now, whether it's his passion or arrogance, he speaks with the only way he can, which is a dad's perspective. But he does take the air out of the room when he enters. I mean, who 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 else in the NBA's parent is that outspoken? And when he steps in the room or he steps on the talk show, I mean, you can just see, if you go back and look at the episode with him and Colin Hurd and the exchange that they had, it's like deflating and the air out of a balloon when he's in the room. He takes up a lot of space in there, but he's passionate about his kids nonetheless. Bet Masters up next. Open up those sports books. It's time for Bet Masters. All right, so a couple of bets, three this week. Let's look into three two-man slips for the NBA this week. So slip one will be the over 205.5 Magic versus the Hornets, and Miller to have over 2.5 assists. Slip two, Wemby over 13.5 points. Do you see what I mean? How the sports books can get the lines wrong when his average is 31.5. I would definitely go ahead and put that in right away. Halliburton also on that slip under 14.5 assists and rebounds. And throw in a college basketball Final Four. Let's see here, slip three. We have Zach Edey under 27.5 points and Tristan Newton under 6.5 rebounds. Remember, bet smart and bet early. In the post up next. Are you tired of overpriced groceries and limited options at the supermarket? Because I know I am. Well, try Misfit Marketplace, where every box is packed with delicious organic produce at up to 40% off retail prices. That's right. You get your fresh fruits to colorful veggies. Misfit Marketplace delivers quality ingredients straight to your door. Visit misfitmarket.com and use code POD20, that is POD20, to get 20% off your first order, and tell them that Dr. T sent you. Eat well, save money, and join the Misfit movement today. Time for our last segment in the post. That's right, lace up those J's and let's hit the hardwood. Joel Embiid, upon returning, inked his multi-million-dollar Skechers deal after leaving Under Armour. Yep. He hit the floor in his brand new skis. Check them out. Let me know in the comments down in the chat. Will you be copping a pair? Let me know what you think. Let's get into these playoffs. Now, we're going to start with the East. The Knicks hold at number 5 after a win over the Kings. The Heat drop to number 7, taking the L to the Sixers. The Pacers move up to number 6 after the Heat's loss. The Sixers is holding at number 8, beating the Heat. Now the Bucks hold at number 2. My Cavs are holding at number 3. The Magic is holding tight at number 4, and I mean barely holding on tight at number 4. And Boston has clinched home court and is number 1. Listen, they are 13 games ahead of the Bucks. Let's head out west. Now the Nuggets hold the number 2 with their loss to the Paper Clips. Now the Paper Clips hold at number 4 after the win over the Nuggets. The Mavs clinched the top seed after the Rockets lost to the Warriors. The Kings are holding steady at 8, losing to the Knicks. The Phoenix Suns are balling. They clinched the top 10 seed after the Rockets lost to the Warriors. The Pelicans also clinched the top 10. The Warriors are holding on tight to that number 10 spot, and the Rockets drop 4 games behind the Warriors. Now, the T Wolves keep the number 1 spot, and OKC hangs on to number 3. That Western Conference is mean. It is nothing nice going on out in the West. So, here's my question before we get out of here for this week. Who do you have in the NBA Finals? And who's taking a chip home this year? Sound off in the comments. Let me know. That's going to do it for this week's episode. And of course, we'll be back on Tuesday with Fast Break and then our regular episode next Friday. So don't go nowhere. Go back, re-listen until we drop a new one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast and tell someone to tell somebody else. I see you. I hope you hitting the subscribe. I see you. I see you listening. I see you downloaded on Spotify. You got it on your Apple Podcast. Well, go ahead and hit subscribe on all of them. Get that notification bell so you know when I am up with a new episode. And I'll see you next week.